What's going on, everyone? I'm Alex, and you know what I love most is when people perpetuate crazy ideas on Instagram and, social media as a whole, because, everybody has a voice, and that's a beautiful thing, but it's also a tragic thing because you have people like who we're going to be looking at today who like to perpetuate some interesting ideas. And, you can count me in as one of those people. I could be entirely wrong on what I'm saying, but I doubt I'm more wrong than this guy. Today, you may have heard of him. You may have heard of Abbew. He's got a pretty big Instagram following here. So, yeah, here's his Instagram. Abbew, or Abbew. Sorry, I didn't mean to mispronunciate. He's got a whopping 2.7 million followers. So, we're going against a bit of a juggernaut out here, if you will. One of the biggest things you may have heard of this guy for is he kind of goes against the ideas of calories in, calories out.
Eddie, what's your view on moderation when it comes to food?
Oh, I hate that word so much. Moderation and balance.
So we're just going to get into it. There's like one particular video I'm going to be looking at today. So right here, what we're going to be looking at today is 3 ways to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. I found some reasons with this one that I just really wasn't a fan of it. So let's just get right into it.
3 ways to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Number 1, eat more fats. Fat has been demonized and vilified for years, but actually fat is your body's preferred energy source because a gram of fat is 9 calories.
So right here, we're off to a hot start. We're just ramming through, but we're just going to take a step back to, look at some of these claims. So first off, we're talking about eating more fats. And, he's right. With fats being vilified and demonized, they're not inherently bad. There's nothing inherently wrong with eating fats. It's just the only issue is that they do have 9 calories per gram. That's an issue because if you look at olive oil, 1 tablespoon of it is 119 calories. So instantly eating a lot of fats is going to shoot up the amount of calories you're eating in proportion. This idea of fats being your body's preferred energy source due to them having 9 calories per gram is entirely pretty off, in my opinion. So basically when you're at rest, your body's main sources of energy are, fats and carbs. And the main way the body uses these is through, at rest, it would be oxidative phosphorylation for carbs and beta oxidation for fats. Fats, they produce a lot of ATP, which is the energy currency of your body as a whole. But the issue with this is that it's very inefficient. So once you start going through actual exercise or upping the amount of energy you do need, your body resorts to other ways of producing ATP, which is not through fats. Fats are good and fats are going to provide you with a lot of energy, but it's not going to provide you with the energy that you need when you're exercising or stuff like that. When you actually need that fast energy, it's not going to be with fats, it's going to be with carbs. So, the statement that he provides, not entirely wrong, but, there's definitely some pieces to it that are a little misinforming.
I'm going to talk about the fats that you need to eat. Avocados, olives, nuts, different types of nuts, cheese, even a bit of bacon and that. We talk about all the healthy fats. Butter, olive oil, cream, coconut oil. These are fats that you can use to build muscle.
Just an FYI, butter and bacon aren't really the best fats on the planet. You don't really use fats to build muscle. You use protein to build muscle. Fats are good for hormones, all that kind of stuff.
I know you guys have been told it's about carbs, but listen, when I started training, this is what I learned. You want to keep your insulin level low throughout the day. And you do that by eating healthy fat.
He talks about keeping your insulin level low, so you want to avoid carbs. Basically, if you're going to eat a lot of carbs, sure, you're going to digest it faster and you're going to become hungrier quicker, but that's not going to affect the rate of which you're actually going to burning those calories. So let's say you eat the same amount of carbs as you do fats, you're going to burn them at the same rates, and therefore, as long as you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to be losing weight. Which I don't know if that's entirely the idea he's getting at, but I feel like it should be stated. And, to kind of back this up, it's like there's a study done from NUSI that found that 17 obese or overweight men eating a low-carb keto diet had no increase in body fat loss or energy expenditure and 17 obese or overweight men eating a high carb diet. Both diets were in a 300 calorie deficit, and it shows that there's no difference in eating fats versus more carbs, and that all that matters really is thermodynamics and the term calories in, calories out.
Trick number 2, only eat animal protein. And please don't give me that bollocks about waste and animal protein. Come on, when you eat animal protein, your body can absorb it and use it better. Animal protein comes with its own micronutrients for your body to convert the calories from that into tissue. That's muscle tissue. The whey protein that's available now, because protein is so expensive, the protein is all fillers and fillers and fillers, so you're not even getting a decent protein. Not that whey protein is the best, but now you got that with lots of fillers. So only animal protein. We're talking about the meats and the fishes, the eggs. An egg is the best. I'll never stop going on about eggs.
He goes on to talk about how you should eat meat proteins. And the statement in of itself isn't inherently wrong, but we get a little sideways with whey. Meat proteins on their own, very good. If you can afford them, go for it, because they contain all 9 essential amino acids, and they work for people in general. They're just really good sources of protein. And yeah, I'm not going to discount the fact that meat protein is good. I eat meat protein. If you could afford to eat meat protein and you don't need whey, go for it. I wouldn't even say you even need whey. So, he also mentions these micronutrients that meats have. And this would be your iron, zinc, selenium, vitamin B12, vitamin D, choline, magnesium, potassium, and that's great. I entirely agree. Meats have all of your micronutrients that your body is going to use, but you could get a lot of your micronutrients from just a multivitamin. He also just mentions this, that whey, he's not saying that whey is bad, but it contains fillers, which, it depends on the brand that you're getting them from. But to clarify, whey, on the other hand, has all 9 and potential amino acids. And, if you're struggling to make ends meet, you can't afford protein, then whey also contains your branched chain amino acids, or BCAAs, which are highly bioavailable essential amino acids for muscle building. Yeah, these are going to be fucking huge. So protein in general, like whey, is going to be recommended by pretty much anyone in the fitness industry except for Mr. Eddie here. Gold standard protein, it's let me get it. Gold standard here is going to be 120 calories for 24 grams of protein. And again, that's a very similar, if not better, ratio as compared to meat protein.
Your source of protein is important. Avoid all these bars and yogurts and potions. Avoid them.
He throws in, for some reason, yogurts and bars catch strays here. I don't see the wrong with yogurts and bars. They might not have all 9 essential amino acids in them, but they're gonna have proteins that your body is gonna be able to use. So yeah, no issues wrong with that. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, only eat carbohydrates before and after training. I know you guys have been brainwashed with something different. I wrote this ebook to explain this to you. Building muscle was a lot easier than it made it out to be. Before the supplement companies came along, I had 4 meals: high fat meals, high protein meals, and then before training, I'll have a little bit of carbs, and after. The amount depends on what you're trying to achieve. When you do that, you build muscle a lot faster.
So here he goes on to say, this last and final, the third tip that's gonna make you from fucking Andrew Eubanks into Ronnie Coleman in a day is your carbs before working out and after working out. Also, not entirely wrong. It's a good point. Your carbs are going to be beneficial throughout the day if you do want to eat them. You eat something with more fats in general promote more satiety. So this I would agree with. But, I would argue a considerable amount of carbs pre-workout is going to be good stuff too for you, because there was the whole Rice Krispie treat thing, and it still is a thing. If you have a Rice Krispie treat before your workout, you're going to get a better pump because you have more glucose that gets turned into glycogen, and it's basically just more stores for your body to turn to, which basically just better fuels you during a workout, which is why intra workouts exist as well, because it's a fast acting glucose that you can have once you start getting depleted. So you like your Gatorades and your stuff like that. So there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of carbs. It's just carbs are going to go through you a little quicker, I guess. I just don't really see big problem he has with carbs. And that video was pretty tame. I agree with some of the points he's making, some of them. You tweak it a little bit, not terrible advice, but here's a video where, Mr. Eddie kind of goes off the rails, in my opinion.
The reason why you're fat is because You've asked your body to store that fat without you knowing. Instead of going around counting fucking calories, got enough calories on you. Teach your body to use that. Those motherfuckers are lying to you about calorie counting. Stop counting your calories. Teach your body how to use this. How to do that? By control insulin.
So this is unhinged nonsense. And as you could have seen from some of the comments on there, people don't really agree with him, and neither do I. Kind of Eddie's whole thing is, let me point out some fucking jargon, let me spit some jargon at you, and then let me say, wake the fuck up, and then cite no sources. And this idea of teaching your body to use the calories on you is bananas. It's not like you're able to hold a lecture with your fucking body, be like, oh, so you see, we have enough calories on us right here in our fat. So we're just gonna use this fat that's on us. And, you know, there's no need for fucking counting calories or anything because we're just gonna use the fat that's on us and ignore the ideas of thermogenics and blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. You're not gonna eat 3,500 calories and then burn 3,000 calories every day and not gain weight, because where the hell are the other 500 calories going? It's just not how that works. It's not how that works at all. If you have this idea that you're not going to need to count your calories and you just need to control your insulin, that's just nuts to me, because what insulin does is it controls the uptake of glucose into your cells to get stored as glycogen. I don't know how controlling that is going to affect your level of burning fat. It just doesn't work like that, because the only thing that would make sense is the point he's getting at is you flush your body with a bunch of glucose, you eat a bunch of glucose, and then all the insulin comes in, flush all the glucose out, and your blood sugar goes poof, and you're just like, oh, I need to eat more. So then you start shoving your face again. But you know, that's not really how it works, because kind of for everyone, people's blood sugar levels vary. It's a genetic thing, kind of like most things in the body. So the idea of counting calories is you have your maintenance calories. So if you want to lose weight, you go 300 calories below, which basically depletes your body's resources. So then your body starts having to turn to itself in order to burn fat and be able to, you know, sustain itself. So this idea that, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, teach my body how to lose fat and I don't need to count calories at all. I'm just gonna ignore the idea of thermogenics as a whole and go against all the scientific literature that's out there right now. It's irrational. In general, it's irrational, and it purports an idea to people that they don't have to try in order to lose weight. This idea that, oh, you know, I don't need to count my calories and track my calories on MyFitnessPal. Oh, I'm totally fine and blah, blah, blah. Not how that works. If you want to lose weight, struggling to lose weight, all you need to do is track your calories and go below your maintenance. This idea that people are trying to get around that, stuff like that, it just basically shows that you just like have no fucking clue what you're talking about. And if Eddie was able to cite some like scientific literature on this or anything that proves this idea in general, I would love to see it and what he means by controlling your insulin. I guess he talks about it in his ebook, but you know, the fuck if I'm gonna go pay all that money for some fucking book that I'm not gonna use. Yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. You know, Eddie, some good stuff, some stuff he goes kind of off the rails, funny stuff on his channel. You know, I'm not doing this to take a dig at Eddie, I'm just doing it mostly to clarify some stuff that, you know, I thought needed to be clarified. So, yeah. Good talking to y'all. I'll see you next time.